Hello teachers, welcome to Values Ed Majorship Enhancement Drills, and this is set 4. You can download the PDF format of set 4 so you can print it if you like. However, if you want to save some papers, you can just do it online. And to maximize or optimize the benefit of this drill, I encourage you to answer first the questions in this set, and then after you finish answering, come back here and check your answers. The rationalizations are provided so that you may enhance your understanding of each item. Now, if you have not yet answered the questions, you may pause this video and come back here later, okay? However, if you're already done answering the questions, you may proceed and check your answers and internalize and understand the rationale of each item. Now, I suppose you're already done, so let's get started. This is set 4, and our goal is to top the board exam. Let's begin. Analyze each item carefully and choose the letter that represents the best answer in each item. This is part 1 of set 4. And our goal is to top the board exam, so bear that in mind. Number 1. Which of the following statements reflects an affective behavior in the valuing process? Letter A makes good judgment of the situations she or he is in, identifies the correctness of his or her own behavior, affirms his or her choices publicly, and letter D repeats his or her behavior and becomes part of his or her lifestyle. In the valuing process, we have 3 major processes. Do you remember? They are choosing, pricing, and acting. Under choosing, we have choosing from alternatives, choosing after consideration of consequences, and choosing freely. And then under pricing, we have pricing and cherishing, and publicly affirming when appropriate. And under acting, we have acting and acting with a pattern, consistency, and repetition. The answer here is letter C, affirms his or her choices publicly. An affective behavior means showing feelings, emotions, or attitudes. In valuing, affirming choices publicly shows feelings and commitment to the values. It means the person is confident and happy about their decision, and they share that value or those values with others. So this reflects their emotions and beliefs. In the second criterion of the valuing process, when a person is happy about his or her choice, a public affirmation usually follows. Sometimes they post that on Facebook or on social media. So that's a kind of affirmation. An affirmation makes the person feel proud of his or her values, or the choices that we make. Personal feelings and attitudes of the individual are components of an affective behavior. Yung options A and B, they use the first criterion of the valuing process, which is choosing. Both of them are in the cognitive domain of behavior. And then option D is in the acting level of the valuing process. So number 1 is letter C. Number 2. After all the examination that taken by the students in the first quarter, Miss J wants the second quarter to start where the students can have better concentration. What is the best strategy she could use to start the lesson in the second quarter? Letter A, rational discussion of a current social issue. Letter B, meditation and relaxation exercises. Letter C, moral dilemma discussion. And letter D, action-oriented projects. What's your answer? The correct answer here is letter B, meditation and relaxation exercises. The purpose of meditation and relaxation exercises is to make the students have better concentration and relieve the stress they experience after taking all the examinations. Options A and B, they use critical thinking and may be too exhaustive on the part of the students who have just finished thinking about their examinations. Yung option D naman is usually used as a strategy to culminate the lesson. It may not be effective to be given at the start of the quarter. So number 2 is letter B. Number 3, Miss A would like to know if their students in class has internalized the practice and the value of honesty during examination. What is the best strategy she could use in their lesson to find out? Letter A, presenting a moral dilemma about cheating during examination. Letter B, giving a lecture about the do's and the don'ts of cheating. And letter C, asking them to conduct a mini survey on cheating. And letter D, encouraging them to emulate a model student who never cheats during examination. Number 3, the correct answer is letter keyword encouraging. The best strategy to internalize the value of honesty using the inculcation approach is through modeling, especially if the role model is consistent and practicing the value she is emulating. Yung option A is presenting moral choices for the students to decide based on their moral reasoning. The strategy is not directly internalizing the value of honesty. The option B naman is also a strategy to internalize the value of honesty by presenting the do's and the don'ts, but may not be the best, especially if the teacher giving the lecture is not credible enough or consistent to the practice of the values that she would like her students to internalize. The option C is a strategy to start the process of value analysis and not a way of direct internalization. So, number 3 is letter D. Number 4. Which of the following statements describes the best facilitator practice for values learning? Letter A. Teacher A is talking too much and making herself the center of attention. Letter B. Teacher S is getting defensive in answering the question of a student. Letter C. Teacher D is allowing a student to dominate the class discussion. And letter D. Teacher C is treating all students as equals. What's your answer, teacher? The correct answer here is letter D. Options A, B, and C are worst facilitator practices, while option D adheres to the good principle of group facilitation, which is making everyone's opinion of equal value regardless of rank and position. So learners would learn best the value or any values if they are given importance by the teacher because they are treated as equals and their opinions are highly respected. So number 4 is letter D. Number 5. Mr. I is facing a problem with 2 equally important alternatives. Stay in his native land with someone he loves but have a simple life, or stay in a foreign land with a more convenient way of living. What could be the best teaching strategy that can be applied in the situation? Letter A, role-playing. Letter B, manipulating alternatives. Letter C, brainstorming. And letter D, moral dilemma strategy. Number 5, what's your answer? Okay, letter D, number 5 is D. The best way to get or to elicit good response from the values learning of the students in this situation is to create a moral dilemma. To think about the problem and arrive at the best solution following the best reason for making the right choice when confronted with a dilemma. Presenting a moral dilemma encourages the critical thinking and value-based decision making in complex situations among the students. So, yung option A, B, and C are good strategies for clarifying the values of the students using the values clarification approach. So, number 5 is letter D, moral dilemma strategy. Cognitive moral development approach yan. Number 6, an approach in values education which is directed towards an active examination of students' beliefs, choices, and decisions to enable them to utilize this in their lives. Letter A, values inculcation approach. Letter B, moral development approach. And letter C, values clarification approach. And letter D, values analysis approach. What's your answer? Number 6 The correct answer is letter D, values analysis. This approach emphasizes active examination of students' beliefs, examining choices and decisions to apply values in real-life scenarios or situations. Option A is incorrect because inculcation focuses on instilling values directly. For example, in modeling, the students emulate the teachers without actively examining the reason behind. So, gaya-gaya lang. That's why we have to be very careful what we show, what we demonstrate to kids or students, because they can adapt it. They can learn from our behaviors. Option B is incorrect because moral development emphasizes complex stages of reasoning. And for that to happen, the teacher creates situations to simulate the possible responses and decisions of students. Option C naman is a good distractor here. If you answered that, so you're distracted. So option C is a good distractor because values clarification approach also requires active examination of students' beliefs, choices, and decision. However, it requires more promptings from a teacher or facilitator. So number 6 is letter D. Number 7. Which of the following indicators best describes an experiential teaching approach in values education? Letter A, promoting divergent and constructive thinking. Letter B, instilling or internalizing desirable values. Letter C, facilitating structured learning experiences for self-direction. Letter D, employing scientific methods and procedures in solving social problems. The answer here is letter C. Number 7 is letter C, facilitating structured learning experiences for self-direction. Yung experiential teaching focuses on engaging students in activities to learn through direct experience. Yung A and B are incorrect as they focus on thinking or internalizing values, not really an action. The option D is incorrect because scientific methods are not central to experiential learning. So number 7 is letter C. Number 8, the most common and oldest strategy in teaching values. Letter A, cognitive analysis of issues and events. B, direct inculcation of values. C, solving moral dilemma. D, clarification of one's values. Number 8, the answer is direct inculcation of values or inculcation approach. Direct inculcation is the oldest strategy focusing on teaching values explicitly. Marami tong style. Minsan, nagging. Kailangan pagalitan, saktan, batuhin. Maraming methods ang direct inculcation para madaling matandaan ng bata ang values. So this is the oldest. A, C, and D are more contemporary approaches involving reasoning and reflection. Number 9, if a person reasons out that it is her or his conscience which defines what is right and what is wrong, the person is operating on what level of moral development? A, pre-moral. B, pre-conventional. C, conventional. And letter D, post-conventional. This is from Kohlberg. The answer here is letter D, conscience, keyword, and that is post-conventional. That's the highest norm of morality for the post-conventional people. Conscience and universal ethical principle. Number 9 is letter D. At this level, individuals rely on conscience and universal principles to determine right and wrong. A and B describe early or less developed moral reasoning. Yung option C naman focuses on conformity to social norms, not conscience. So number 9 is letter D. Number 10. Which of the following best describes the values education teacher as a good facilitator of values learning? Letter A, clarifying students' values by processing the cognitive and affective learning. Letter B, providing more cognitive inputs through a lecturette. C, directing the values of the students by putting across what he believes in. And letter D, allowing student leader to lead the values learning of his or her classmates. Number 10 is letter A good facilitator helps students understand their values through discussion and reflection. Yung B, C, and D involve imposing or delegating rather than facilitating self-discovery. So number 10 is letter A. Number 11, the group facilitation theory of values learning is anchored on the belief that, letter A, human beings have a natural eagerness to learn. B, human beings are capable of self-actualization. Letter C, human beings have the capacity to learn through imitation and observation. And letter D, human beings learn when the senses are stimulated. Number 11, the correct answer is letter. Okay, human beings have a natural eagerness to learn. That's letter A. Group facilitation builds on intrinsic motivation and natural curiosity as opposed to extrinsic motivation or external motivation. So the option B focuses on self-actualization, not facilitation. Yung C and D emphasize imitation and sensory learning, not group processes. Number 11, letter A. Number 12, which of the following chiefly characterizes a clarifying response strategy? Letter A, it is a form of discussion strategy. Letter B, it is used for students with emotional problems. And letter C, it is an interview process. Letter D, it challenges students to reflect on their values. CRS, clarifying response strategy, is letter D, it challenges students to reflect on their values. So number 12 is letter D. Clarifying responses aim to make students think about and assess their values. Yung A, B, and C, they describe different methods not central to clarification. So number 12 is letter D. Number 13, which statement does not describe the action learning approach of teaching values? A, students discover and act on their values. B, scientific methods and procedures are employed to solve community problems. Letter C, social learning extends to experiential learning in the community. And letter D, values develop as a result of interplay between the students and society. Number 13, the answer is letter B. This one does not describe the action learning approach. A, B, and C, they do. So action learning, usually, of course, it focuses on experiential learning, not scientific procedures. So A, C, and D correctly describe action learning. 13 is letter B. Number 14, a student who is in the choosing level of being fair and honest. Letter A accepts the intrinsic value of being fair and honest. B, manifests fairness and honesty in his or her behavior. C, feels proud of responding to situations honestly and fairly. And letter D, chooses to be fair and honest given no choice. Number 14, the correct answer here is letter A, accepts the intrinsic value of being fair and honest. If you remember, at the choosing level, individuals understand the value itself, including the possible consequences of choosing the value. So in this case, the value of being fair and honest. Yung options B and C, they describe later stages of acting and pricing, respectively. So option D is a poor option here because the first process in the valuing process indicates choosing from alternatives. So if there were no choices in which the individuals could choose from, for example, walang alternatives, and then it defeats the purpose of the valuing process. So the first step in the valuing process requires choosing from alternatives, choosing after consideration of consequences, and choosing freely. So number 14 is letter A. Number 15. The transpersonal approach is good for values development, specifically in letter A, clarifying the value positions of the learner. B, transmitting the more desirable values of the society. Letter C, developing logical and creative thinking. And letter D, developing higher level of consciousness and spiritual upliftment. Number 15, the correct answer is letter D. The transpersonal approach emphasizes spirituality and consciousness. So yung A, B, and C, they focus on cognitive or societal values, not the transpersonal kind of approach in values education. So 15 is letter D. Number 16, Mr. V wanted to teach the value of gender fairness to his students. To do this, he made personal interviews of selected women, tape recorded their responses, and asked the class to listen to the voice tape. What strategy did Mr. V use? A, devil's advocate, case analysis, vignette, and letter D, dialogue strategy. Number 16, the correct answer is letter C, vignette. Cambridge Dictionary defines vignette as a short piece of writing, music, acting, recording, etc. that clearly expresses the typical characteristics of something or someone. So in this case, Mr. V used the short piece of the recorded voice tape. Yung A, B, and D describe other strategies not used here. So number 16 is letter C. Number 17, to instill the value of fairness to the students, what could be the best inculcation strategy a values education teacher can use? Letter A, modeling. B, negative reinforcement. C, behavior modification. And letter D, storytelling. The correct answer is the keyword. We have modeling. Modeling demonstrates fairness in action, providing a clear example for students. So this is a very good, usually 90 to 100% correct answer when you see that. Options B and C focus on behavior control, not positive examples. And option D is less direct than modeling. So 17 is A. Number 18, a person who has reached the highest level of moral development should, letter A, do the right thing out of fear of punishment. Letter B, do the right thing out of conformity to the law. Letter C, do the right thing out of dictates of his or her conscience. And letter D, do the right thing out of expectations for some rewards. The correct answer is letter... Yep, it's letter C. Do the right thing out of dictates of his or her conscience. That's the highest level of moral development. You do that because you believe that is right. The highest moral development level prioritizes universal ethical principles. So, take note of that. A and B describe lower stages, and option D focuses on rewards. That's very low in the moral development approach according to Kohlberg. So, number 18 is letter C. Number 19, in facilitating values learning in the classroom, the following elements of the andragogical process must be considered except letter A, setting the physical environment as well as the psychological atmosphere. B, involving learners in diagnosing their own needs. Letter C, involving learners carry their learning plans. And letter D, is starting with a structured learning situation as a springboard for learning. The correct answer is letter D. Andragogical learning emphasizes flexibility and learner involvement, not so rigid structures. So A, B, and C align with andragogical principles. So we're looking for the exception here. Number 19 is letter D. Number 20, Miss M would like to solve the problem of tardiness and absenteeism of her students. She would like to teach the value of coming on time. Which of the following strategies would be more effective to use? A, use punishment for students' tardiness and absenteeism. B, use role modeling and always start the class on time. Letter C, use clarifying response strategy. Ask for the reasons why they are coming late. And letter D, use storytelling strategy. Give the consequences of their behavior. Number 20 is letter Keyword again, role modeling. Number 20 is B. Role modeling demonstrates desired behavior effectively. So, option A may create resentment, magsasama lang loob ng estudyante. Letter C involves reflection without demonstration. And yung option D naman focuses on direct teaching. Or indirect teaching rather. So, number 20 is B. So, that's the part 1 of set 4 of our Values Ed Majorship Enhancement Drills. So let's continue in the next video.